everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. We are on day 19 of DEPHEMEREMBER, which is using a stamp to create a page tab. This is a daily ephemera challenge in December hosted by 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel, whom I've linked below in the description box. So let's jump in. Whoops, that would be my alarm. So that being stated, I plan to use mushrooms for the theme of my page tabs for this, because I just think it would be a lot of fun, and that they will go very much with the kind of fall and winter kind of lore that I'm putting together here. So I'm going to start by creating bases for my tabs, and I think I will make 8 of them. We have 8 stamps, so I will make 8 tabs. So I'm going to use, I have this Stampin' Up! Whale Tail Tab Punch. These are very hard to find these days. I don't know where you could get one, like one of those situations where they're no longer manufactured, but they do pop up from time to time in places like eBay. Oops, or Facebook Marketplace is another place to look. That's where I got mine. There's also some like Facebook groups where people sell old punches. Okay, so we will punch out 8 of these. So these are going to just get set aside. They're just, they're going to be the base for whatever I'm going to create to glue onto them. So now I want to use the same paper, I think, to do the stamping on. And this is like a natural kind of grassy paper. It's handmade with little bits of stuff in it. And this one is somewhat smooth. There are a few bumpy spots, but it's not too bad. So yeah, that's what we will do. So I'm just going to start by plunking my stamps on. I'm just going to do one at a time to just sort of get the better result if possible. Okay. Here's one. Three. I'm actually filming in the morning today. My video yesterday was a little bit late because my holiday market was yesterday and it went really nicely. It was a lot of fun. I think it's sort of the the one and only that I will be doing for a long time though, because things are getting a little not so good here again in Canada with this whole world situation. So we are going back into a personal family lockdown for sure. But everything was okay yesterday. Although I really have to give it up for people who are working in, I mean, definitely the medical field, but honestly, any other field that you're required to, well, every field where you're working with the public, you need to be wearing a mask every day, all day long. Like, masks don't really bother me on shopping trips and stuff, but yesterday I wore like a KN95 mask with an N95 on top because I was in an indoor space, with other people. Everybody was masked, but still. So yeah, I definitely felt headachy and tired. It was a little different. but still worth it. Okay, we have one more to go. All right, mushrooms. And lots of ink on my fingers as always when I stamp. I don't know how people stamp and don't get ink on their fingers. That's a skill that I do not possess. All right, I'm just going to get rid of stamps and get them out of the way here so that we have more space. Now, what I decided I wanted to do with these is I want to do a little bit of painting, not a lot of painting, but a little bit. And I've limited myself to a small palette of colors. So I'm going to be using a crimson red, a burnt umber brown. These are all just acrylic paints, and saffron yellow. So those are the colors that I can use in here, as well as white, because we need white. So I'm going to start by painting anything that could look like an amanita because they're my favorite mushroom. I know that all of these species are not amanita. Most of them are actually bolete, but I might cheat a little and make a couple of them amanitas just because there's no rules. So I'm actually just going to use so little paint that I'm just going to grab it right out of the bottle itself. And I'm actually just going to paint right over the top section of this stamp. I'm not trying to get in between the little bits and bobs because I'm going to be adding white there. So white is going to be kind of the last thing that I use, the kind of topper color. So those could be amanitas. We're going to make these amanitas too, just because. Even though they don't have that little skirt at the bottom, it's okay. Okay. I think that's all I'll get away with the amanitas. Then we will use the yellow. And I think I can make, these are like chanterelles, so they are a yellowy shade. This brush needs a little water. It's kind of grumpy. There we go. Okay, and then I think these ones also, we can add yellow. Sometimes it's nice to just have a limited palette like this because you don't overthink. And I think I'll make those little guys up here. They're like, make them yellow too, although they'd probably, in nature, they'd actually be probably kind of gray. But that's okay. I might hit them with a little bit of the burnt umber to just tone them down. Okay, so the others will be the burnt umber. I might grab another brush. The one I have over here is a little tiny. Do I have another brush on my desk? Yes, I do, right here. This one's okay. tone this down a little bit because it's kind of dark. We don't want to go too dark so that we don't lose the lines from the stamp. Okay, that should be good. All right, and then I probably will pull in a little more of the yellow to just touch up a little bit. Oops. Okay, hold on. So I cleaned that up a little bit. It's not really going to matter. We're going to tear around these anyways, so I don't need to get, you know, dramatic about it. It's fine. So I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of yellow highlight to the brown mushrooms a little bit. Okay, and then a little bit of brown highlight on the yellow mushrooms a little bit. Okay, then we're going to come in with white. So the white will be like the last kind of highlighting that we'll do. Just using the tiniest brush here to just add the little amanita spots. And then I might just throw a little bit of white highlight in the gills on some of these. Just going to just add paint and kind of take it away to just add little bits of white highlight on the gills of the yellow mushrooms. And maybe the kind of the underbellies of these ones a little bit too. It's just like adding simple little bits of texture. Okay. So those are painted. I think that's all I need to do with paint. So I'm just going to take a moment. I may come in with some green actually to just paint these little leaves. So I'm just going to take a moment to clean brushes. I'll be right back. Okay, so I basically just did a little bit of the green. I came in, I used this sour apple. I used very little of it to just shade in the greenery in these images. And then came in with some white on the stems of the ones that I want to look like amanita. And so these are dry now, and I'm thinking I've folded these that are going to be kind of the basis for what I plan to stick them on. Maybe not, we'll see, because they won't necessarily need to have these if I just go with a more freeform shape, which might happen because I tend to get a little wild with my how I want to do things. So we'll see. I figured I would create those just in case I needed a firm base if whatever I was making wasn't going to stand up on its own, but this is really strong paper, so I have no concern. It's the kind of paper that it wouldn't struggle from being, you know, grabbed onto as a tab to flip a page. So just tearing around these so I get like a nice freeform edge, which is a little bit sometimes challenging with this paper because it is like a natural handmade paper. I got this lovely paper actually on Facebook Marketplace. There was a woman who was moving out of her home, and a few years earlier she had purchased huge sheets of this paper and another kind of handmade paper. Like they were in wallpaper, huge rolls, as well as a bunch of small cuts like these. I guess were probably the leftover from whomever she had make this paper for her, because she had it custom made. She was going to use it as wallpaper in her home, and she just didn't get around to doing the project, she said, and then they ended up moving. So yeah, I got this whole entire, like, huge lot of it from her. So that was really nice. Nice find. That's the thing. There's like nice sort of treasures out there, things that you don't think about. My husband does a lot of looking on Facebook Marketplace because he sells things like we're decluttering, and also he finds a lot of funny things, and he has a little bit of a, he has a really great sense of humor, and so he often shares the funniest things that he can find on Facebook Marketplace with his friends, and it's quite funny. Okay, we're almost there, we're almost there. I could have sped through this and chatted, or just played music, but I felt like chatting, so let's do that instead. So I'll keep all these little bits and bobs in my scraps because they're nice. And also, when you're doing a project like this, if you're thinking that you're going to use all of these materials in a single journal, keep all of the scraps from everything you've made in the same place, because you will collect enough to be able to make several more things if you need to. And it will go along with the whole theme of what you're working on. So now I'm just going to lie these down because I want to create sort of clustery type, collagey type ephemera. So the backing that I was thinking I wanted to use, and why I'm saying that this may not come into play, is actually birch bark. I have a lot of birch bark that I got from some trees that we had to cut down, we had just way too many birch trees that, like, they're kind of killing each other. So I'm just going to kind of cut a freeform shape out of this and lay it on here. Now it's nice and firm, this birch bark, it's quite thick. And I'll just kind of peel bits and bobs. And again, these are things that I keep, because you'd be surprised how nice it is to add a little touch of birch bark to something when you're making like a nature journal. Okay. Oops, it's a little too curly Q. Smaller piece maybe. No, too small. Oh, sorry, I'm cutting completely off camera here. Every now and then I just... And then the other side of the birch bark is this richer kind of ambery color, so you can decide how you want to use the birch bark. I think that's all the birch bark that I have right now. So I'm going to use no birch bark on this one, which is fine, because I don't feel like... Actually, maybe I'll use a smaller piece. I don't feel like getting up and getting more birch bark out of my bag. I'll use this little one and some scrap here of black walnut dyed paper. So yeah, I think these tags are going to be a little sizable. I'm going to have to back them on some kind of paper, and I actually may just use this paper again, so I keep that natural tone. And I end up with like tabs that are really like nice, and the background's not going to really mess with the overall look. So what I wanted to do though, with the mushroom images, I want to ink around them so that they are the focal point of this whole collage type thing. And hopefully I can make that happen on this paper. It's a little harder to ink. Let's just see how this one looks. It's not, it's going to be a little fuzzy. Actually, no, I like that. Yeah. So let's just do that real quick. Go around. Okay. So yesterday was a very, very snowy day. It was a nice day though to have a holiday market. It was busy, and I got to explain what junk journals were to a lot of people, which was kind of fun because it was my first show ever doing sales of journals in person. I usually am a yarn and fiber vendor and other kind of creative things, but I haven't sold paper goods before. So actually the funny thing is that was the primary makeup of my sales day, journals. Mostly like around the $40 range, I would say. So my less, you know, the less like large themed journals, but I did sell a few of those too. So I think I had a few observations about selling junk journals in person. I think, you know, selling them on Etsy like I do, I make a lot of sales because people are able to they know what they're looking for. They know typically they may watch these videos, or they may already just be a paper artist themselves. But the kind of cool thing was educating people about what junk journals, how they originated, how my journals are a little different than just junk journals. They're kind of more artisan sort of journals because they don't use only, you know, scrappy junk stuff. And then just kind of having them understand the level of work that's involved, which I think many of them actually could tell. I think a lot of people were overwhelmed. They would ask me, am I allowed to open this? And I said, yeah, absolutely. It's not going to explode. Don't worry. But there's this idea, I think, that they're a little fragile. So be careful maybe, which they definitely aren't. And then I think one thing that I will get for the next show that I do is like a little podium or pedestal type thing that they can lay the journal down on to open it and look inside, because I think that would be good. That would be a good way to kind of specifically say, yes, you're allowed to pick this up. Okay, the other thing I was toying with doing is using leaves that I cut into this shape, because I love the natural element of this, and I have dried many leaves, so I don't really want like the whole helicopter showing, but I do want it to just peek out a little. So how did I do that? This is a Stampin' Up! Punch that actually currently is still being made. It's like this, it's for making flower petals basically. So I already cut one greener dried leaf and also an oak leaf, which I may use here. So I'm not going to lie, it can be a little hard if your leaf isn't really in the right condition. So I'll show you my collection of leaves that I dried this year, all my things that I've dried, some of them anyways. So I would recommend, if you're going to cut, you want a leaf that has been dried. So it's fully dry like this. This is perfect. It's papery. It's fully dry. Something like a eucalyptus, it's all bendy and is kind of too dry. It's hard to put through a punch. This would be perfect actually. And I want another green and another brown. I also have maple leaves in here that would be perfect. But I think for now that's good. I'm just going to go with these two. That should be enough. So I'm not going to be too concerned if like I can't get a whole shape. Although I can get a whole shape out of this leaf. So there we go. Now the tricky part is just getting it out of the punch, and that's why you want it to be really nice and dry and crispy and flat, because like, but papery, not cracky crispy, because otherwise it will make it really hard to get out of your punch. So grab a couple out of that one, and then, you know, just fiddling it out there. Okay, so I'll put the other green one I want with the red. I really think that stands out nicely. Then this amber tone is so beautiful. I think I'll put it up here. Another green, maybe with the chanterelle. And I have another couple that I already cut, I think, over here. At least one. Here's one. Yeah, I might need one more. This maybe I'll put down here. I think it needs a little more color. So we need one more of those leaves. Yeah, I think so. Or maybe just, you know what might also be nice, is just to take the top of the natural leaf and use that. Okay, so that is what I have mostly assembled, I think, for this. I have a couple other things that I wanted to try to use. So I was thinking a little bit of this sparkle paper that I made the other day, just to kind of bring like a snowy aspect to it. I was thinking book page or this, but I think this would be nice to just add a little sparkly cluster down here. Each of these. Oh, and I don't have any leaf on this one either. Okay, that's okay. We can use the top of this leaf. And that's actually a really nice color with the yellow. I'm definitely going to, I think, need to speed through the pasting down of this. So I'll probably do that so that you're not stuck watching a 3-hour video of me kerfuffling around with my paper. Just a little sparkle here and there. Brings all the magic together, right? Okay, a little bit there. Okay, and then the other thing I want to do, but I'll probably do it at the end, is I have this tea-dyed doily. I just think it's so pretty. I love these little round spindles in the middle, and I was thinking I would love to try to use them with this. So let me make a speed up video of me just assembling this whole situation, and then we will revisit the spindles maybe, okay? So I'll be back soon. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can tell, a little more than gluing occurred, and that's because I just wanted to make these a little bit more solid, and also I felt like I wanted some stitching on there to both protect the leaves being down as well as to add more black on top of here. So I haven't cut the strings yet. I'm not going to do that until like I decide to cut these out, but first I want to go ahead and get started maybe adding the lacy bits and bobs that I have from this doily. So I've taken this doily and just taking a look at it. So like, what do we have? We have this shape, and we have these spindles. So for every one of these spindles, we're going to get 4 of those. So I'm going to use both, look at my fingers. I'm going to use both these and the spindles because I think they're both really beautiful. And then it's just a matter of deciding what goes where. And yeah. Oops. Maybe that one goes here. Yeah, that goes there. All right, so then we'll just keep cutting a few more of these out. So I'll probably go like 2 sets of leaves and then 1 spindle. And you could even cut these a little smaller if you wanted to try to like cut the leaves apart, but I typically like to cut doilies only on the single thread connection lines. Because it just sort of keeps the nice shape together. That one here. Maybe up here. Do one at the top actually. Okay. We need 2 more, so we'll do another spindle and another leaf, I think. Okay. Maybe spindle here and leaf here. Okay, so I'm going to attach those with fabric tack. Let go. It's a little tricky gluing with one hand, but I don't like putting this bottle down and starting again because it takes a minute for the glue to come back up to the top. I really like how these are coming together. I was thinking about how they're a little bit large, but I'm okay with that because I sort of feel like this ephemera, all of it is shaping up to be a little bigger. So that's okay. I think I'll just use a slightly larger book. We'll see. Just kind of give everything a little pat down, and then I'm not going to tear these out. I'm actually just going to cut them out because I want to maintain the shape of everything that's on there, and I don't want to like rip into each piece. And I also think it's nice because it's going to allow me to cut the threads at the same time, but not completely remove them, because I really love the black thread with this. I think it's really nice. I've got black on my my sewing bobbin, and then in the bobbin in the machine I have gold, so it's kind of nice to have those 2 colors just sort of peeking through, because they do kind of fall into the whole overall theme of this ephemera I've been making. I also really love the texture of these. They feel very like mixed media, but not mixed media, like very like a little piece of nature themed art. I really like that. again, I'm so thankful to Barbara and Louisa for coming up with this fun set of prompts. I don't know what it is. I've definitely used lots of prompts before for things, taken part in these kind of things, but this particular one, I don't know if it's the season or the fact that we're all doing it together, but it's really making me very inspired, and I really enjoy the things that I'm making. And I know it's definitely kind of feeding a few other ideas that I have. So I'm very thankful to them for this. Okay. Yeah, those little page tabs wouldn't stand a chance with these. But that's okay. It's always good to have a few of those cut out anyways, because I use them on little tags and things often. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let's have a recap here of what we've made with my very inky, gluey, painty fingers. So, yeah, I'm really happy with these page tabs. I think they came out very cute. I love the little spindles. They're probably my favorite. And I love the mushrooms, especially the amanita, because that's, you know, my favorite mushroom to find wild, just to take pictures of, and, you know, to just take a picture of my dog in his gnome costume hanging out with those mushrooms. All those kind of things make me very happy. So I will put some final images on Instagram of these. If you don't yet follow me on Instagram, I am Studioloo on Instagram as well. And thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet subscribed, I would love it if you did. You can see the little subscribe button down below, as well as all of my social media information in the description box. And thank you again for another really fun day of DEPHEMEREMBER, and I hope you're enjoying it. Take care, and we will talk tomorrow. Bye for now.